Shalom, Brother Aaron, Royal Regime of Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'm going to say, call Halor Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakah Kadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, in the name of His only begotten Son, through the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the elders and leaders of the nation of Israel that push and teach this truth and sincerity. I also want to say shalom to the 1/3, that great multitude of men, women, and children that believe wholeheartedly on the scriptures. I want to say shalom to you. All right, I titled this lesson, The Build Up to World War III, Armageddon. All right, and as you can see, there's a lot that's going on within the earth pertaining to prophecy. Okay, the Lord is not holding back this word. There was a time we would read the prophecies of this Bible and we didn't physically see anything come into pass. We know and we believe by faith, but we wasn't able to see it come into fruition. Well, now the Lord is bringing his word swiftly to pass, just like prophecy say he would. And one of the main prophecies, or end time prophecies, the biggest event prior to the kingdom, or right before the kingdom can be ushered in on this earth, is the Battle of Armageddon, or better known according to the world as World War III. Okay, which is a huge part of prophecy. And what we're witnessing now is this is basically a build-up. All right, you have a lot of people who trying to put forth lessons or trying to go into the Bible, or specifically a lot of these Christians, okay, that's jumping all over the place, totally confused. Okay, well, there are things that has to happen before World War III can officially, or shall we say the height of World War III, okay, those thermonuclear destructions, which is how this world is going to be purged by fire. Okay, before that can take place, there's still events according to prophecy that has to happen. One of the main events going into what the Bible refers to is that mark of the beast. Okay, there's going to be a digital microchip, but that's for another lesson. However, understand, before the height of this World War III, which this earth being purged to judge through fire, thermonuclear ballistic missiles is how this earth is going to be purged. But before that can happen, okay, there are prophecies such as the persecution of Israel, the church, the persecution, I said that, of Israel, of the true Israel. Let me say that. I will put Israelites. And also the chip, the mark of the beast. That has to come to fruition before. So in other words, you're not going to wake up tomorrow or a week or even probably a month from now and boom, everything is destroyed in missile. Okay, hellfire. It's not going to work like that, but we are witnessing the buildup. All right, and the powers that be, okay, specifically the West, understand there's two different dynamics. You got man's agenda, which is about specifically the white man's God is gold, oil, and drugs. Okay, this is about oil and money and resources. The next superpower trying to establish themselves within the earth. Okay, Esau, the so-called white man, is dwindling. His power is slipping. You got the other nations that see that. Okay, China thinks they're going to be next. Okay, Russia thinks they're next in line. The Middle Eastern countries, they think they're Iran. Okay, you got all of these superpowers who thinking they're going to be next in line. So ultimately, that's what the majority of this is about. Okay, fighting over certain parts of land. Okay, whoever controls that certain area like Gaza Strip, Israel, okay, pretty much controls the world just based off of the different oil supplies and resources that runs throughout the earth. Okay, so on man's level, that's what this is about. But the Lord has a higher agenda. Okay, the Lord is going to gather all these nations up to what the Bible talks about judgment. Okay, that's what the Lord is doing. And according to prophecy, what the Lord is doing, which is prophecy, that's all that matters. So that's what we kind of looking at in this lesson. Let me start off here, okay, because we go according to the spirit of what the Spirit has given us. Nobody knows, no prophet or no man know exactly what date this is going to take place, exactly how this is going to happen. All we can show you is it's going to happen and show you through the scriptures what's going to build up, the build up to it. All right. So, for example, 1 Corinthians 13:9. It says, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. Okay, so for now, we know, and prophesy in part, meaning the best to what the Spirit could give us, to what the understanding He's given us to lead us through the Spirit of breaking down these scriptures. But as far as knowing everything perfectly and perfect sequential, exact order, no. Okay, no man is going to know that. Another precept just to show that Romans 12:6. Having then gifts different according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. Okay, so different prophets and ministers were given different proportions, a measure of faith to prophesy. Okay, but we do that according to whatever level that the Lord has given us. All right, so like I was saying a minute ago, ultimately, this is the Lord's will to bring about this war, this final war for the judgment of the nations. All right, so let me pick it up there. Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day when I rise up to the prey. Now, the prey in this sense is Esau. Okay, the so-called white man. The Lord is going to judge him and bring him out of power. He is the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I shall assemble the kingdoms to pour up on them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the Lord's determination, or the Lord's will, his war plan, is to gather all these nations so he can bring them together and judge them by fire. For then I will turn to my people a pure. Okay, verse 8 is the point I want on that. Just clearly showing you the Lord's determination is war through judgment. Exodus 15:3. It says the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. And this is one of the characteristics of things of the Most High that most people don't understand. Okay, the Lord is a man of war. There's no greater war general than Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, the Lord himself. Okay, so the Lord is making all these things, everything that you see within the earth. Man has one agenda, but understand, when Trump done what he done the other day, okay, that was the Lord making him do it. The responses you see, okay, whatever it is Iran does back, retaliation, the things Israel do, understand, okay, it's the Lord that's ultimately controlling the minds of these kings, these leaders, to bring forth his will, his determination, like we just read. Exodus 15:20. Not Exodus, like it's 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra 15:20. Behold, said Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east of Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another, to repay the things which they have done unto them. See that? He's gathering the nations against themselves, one against another. Verse 21, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom. Thus says the Lord Yahweh. Okay, so this ultimately is the Lord's recompense, a judgment on the nations, also for what the nations have done to the Lord's people. Okay, having us into all these different captivities throughout the years. All right, this is Isaiah 14:24. The Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand. Showing you what? Whatever, this is the Lord's plan, his determination, his will. That I will break the Assyrian in my land. The modern day Assyrian is Esau, the white man. And upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden shall depart from off their shoulders. Okay, once Babylon, okay, is fully, according to prophecy, okay, our job is to only break it down and give it to you according to what the Bible said. But this is the Lord breaking the burden or delivering the captivity of his people. Okay, once Babylon, Esau is taken out of power, what? That's the final captivity of the children of Israel. Let's see. Let's get Revelations 11 and 14. It says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Now, when it says woe, this is going into the different world wars. Okay, you had the World War I already in the past, World War II, and the Bible is letting you know this third war coming quickly. Okay, referring to this final war, World War III. Right? Let's get Second Ezra's. No, actually, let's go to Joel. Joel 3 and 1. It says, for behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And when it says bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, that means what? The Lord freeing his people. Okay, like he read, when he judges the Assyrian, that'll fully break the bondage or the control these nations have over the children of Israel. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, Jehoshaphat is going into judgment, or the valley of decision. I will also gather all nations. I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So once again, this is showing you why the Lord is going to judge these nations in this battle Armageddon, or World War III. Okay, like I said a minute ago, for what they've done, the captivity that the whole world has had. Israel's been under the captivity of every nation for the most part. So this is the Lord recompense. But prior to what them delivering us, this war has to come about. It's a nothing. I think it's Second Ezra 15 and 8. Let me get that. It's the Second Ezra 15:8, and I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cried out unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Okay, that's the righteous crying out, just like in ancient time. Okay, when the Lord, before we delivered our people out of Egypt, they were crying out for the oppression. Well, it's the same thing that the elect or the righteous is doing now. Okay, through way of videos, prophesying. Okay, well, the Lord is hearing that. Verse 9, and therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and I receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. All right, let's go back to Joel 3. This is Joel 3 and 9. It says, proclaim this among the Gentiles and prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them all come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your prong hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So this is showing you the vibration that's on the earth right now. Okay, the Lord is calling out to all these nations, letting them know, hey, beat your plowshares or your prong. What do you say? Beat your plowshares into swords. A plowshare is a gardening tool. So no longer don't invest in your economy. It's not about making money or try to build your infrastructure and economy. The Lord is showing, letting them know what? It's a time for war. Turn those same plowshares into swords, because it's a time for war. And your pring hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Look at verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. That valley of Jehoshaphat, that word goes into decision, judgment again. For there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Now we know part of the reason. Or we read why is the Lord judging the heathen? Why is he gathering all these nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat to judge them for this final battle? Part of it, as we read, to free the captivity of his people. What they've done Okay, even in ancient times, okay, the Middle East, so-called Iranian, the Medes, the Persians, the ancient names, we were in all of those captivities. Okay, remember Israel been under the captivity of the, what was the first captivity? Assyrian, Babylonian Empire. From there was the Medes and the Persians, which would be your modern day Iranians, Iran, all of them. After that, it was the Greeks, the Romans, all the way up in today, modern Rome, America. Okay, well, the Lord, this is the freedom of the Lord's people. This is the judgment that precedes that. The Lord is gathering all those nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great, showing you everything is right for judgment, the judgment of the Lord. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right? Let me get Joel. Let's get Joel 2:1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion. How do we blow the trumpet? That's what we're doing now. We're prophesying, breaking down these scriptures through the Bible, warning our people. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh. It is not at hand. Now, the day of the Lord, we know what prior or leading up to the day of the Lord, this battle Armageddon has to happen, or what the world refers to World War III. This is what we're reading about, that judgment. That day is at hand, or what we build is, according to prophecy, that day is being built up. What you see happening right now, the wars, rumors of wars, and it's starting to go from wars, actual rumors, to what we're seeing it manifest. Okay, but it's still the buildup to what we're going to read, what the Bible refers to as that great battle. Verse 2, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick smokes, a day of mourning spread up on the mountains, a great people and a strong. For there had not been ever like, neither shall there be any after it, even the years of many generations. A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burning. So what you think that's talking about when they say a fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame? Okay, that's the actual nuclear destruction, or at the height, or what shall we say, the end of what the world refers to as World War III. Well, that's what we're reading about now. Okay, that's the way the Lord is going to judge or purge this earth. Okay, through war. All you seeing now is the very beginning, the build up to what we're reading now. So verse 3 again, a fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burning. The flame burning in the land as a garden of Eden before them, and behind them as a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. All right. Let's get Jeremiah, 50 and 45. Because all of this started, what it say, the least of the flock is going to draw them out. Okay, it all started with Israel, or the Jewish state, Israel, which you've been seeing in your news. Israel and Iran, or Israel, Palestine, better yet. Okay, and Israel, their biggest ally, America, dragging what you saw now, America the other day, yesterday, whatever, bomb Iran. So now America's pulled into it, and all that's going to do is what cause all of these Islam or these Muslim nations in the Middle East to join together, especially backed by their two superpowers, Russia and China. Okay, so we went from the least of these started, now the big boys are starting to get involved. All right, so this is Jeremiah 50 and 45. It says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that taketh against Babylon, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So the least of the flock, which is Israel over there, okay, that's going to draw everybody else out into this. Exactly what you see playing out now. Okay, what started with them, and the Bible refers to them as the least for a reason. Okay, there's other places. Let me get this real quick. Okay, they're most despised amongst the earth. That's what it means by the least. What's that, Obadiah 1? The vision of Obadiah, thus says the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor of the Lord, an ambassador is sit amongst the heathen. Rise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Okay, so we just read when it says the least shall draw them out. And that's what you see happening in the earth now. The whole world is starting to see, wait a minute, these people really are despised. Or the world is starting to despise them more than ever because the world is starting to really see who's behind all this crap. All of this time, all these wars and who's pushing for this the whole time. And even what recently happened, okay, with Trump responding, bombing Iran or whatever, nuclear facilities. Okay, well, that was without any congressional hearing or anything. So even America's so-called allies in the West, they not, none of them agreeing with that. Okay, so this thing is really finna spiral out of control, but it's a process. Okay, so let me get this real quick. 2nd Ezra 16:37. Because the Bible liken it's kind of like a woman in travail or labor pains. Okay, for the great bomb, a nuclear destruction really come, is a buildup. See, behold, the plagues draw it nigh and are not slack. As when a woman with child is in the 9th month bringing forth her son, with 2 to 3 hours of her birth, great pains compares her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So the build up to prophecy, or the build up concerning prophecy to the end, or what we were doing in this lesson into this battle Armageddon or World War III, it's like it's a ripple effect or a domino effect. Okay, so nothing is going backwards. Okay, the baby that's being born ultimately is the kingdom. But even before the kingdom, what this nuclear destruction has to happen, but we're showing you what things is like a woman in travail, labor. Okay, right? Okay, as soon as you think the baby coming, okay, well, not quite. It's labor pains. Well, this is how these wars, okay, that's why the Bible refers to it, wars and rumors of wars. Like people all excited, oh, tomorrow everything might be over. Or the nuclear bombs could go off next week or next month. No, it's a process. Okay, this is what the Bible likened it to, a woman in travail. So many centimeters dilated. You see the head crown. Oh, I know it's coming now, but nope, not yet. It's just like if you look kind of like the earth. I like to use 2020 for an example. Okay, if you look at the pandemic and all of that, that changed, the world pretty much changed. Okay, well, people thought, a lot of people were looking like the end of the world was 2020, 2021. But no, what happened? Things since died down. But had they really died down? Soon as that part might have been over, but what? Things really progressively, overall, things have gotten worse since. It'll quiet down a little bit, get worse again. Quiet down, get worse. Well, this is how this World War III is going to be. Okay, it's not happening tomorrow, next week. It's not going to be overnight. But even if you look prior, like I used the example 2020, okay, nothing is going back to normal. Okay, what quote unquote, per se, what people perceive what normal used to be. Or I like to say before 2020, okay? Things never return to fully normal. It's just what? Things will spike, die down a little bit, something else will spike. Okay, well, this is what is going to play out all the way until Yahushua returns. All right. Let's see. Let me play this clip.
Hey, yo, y'all heard what happened to
the Middle East conflict and its global economic impact. The intensifying conflict between Israel and Iran, now drawing in powers like the US, is beginning to shake the global economy. Oil prices have surged by over 12% in recent days, driven by fears that the conflict may disrupt transit through the Strait of Hormuz, a key energy artery. Stock markets across Europe, Asia, and Latin America have dropped, reflecting investor anxiety over a possible regional collapse. Gold prices are climbing, as investors turn to safer assets in times of uncertainty. Emerging economies like India and Brazil, which rely heavily on energy imports, are facing rising production and transportation costs. In the United States, while short-term impact is limited, economists warn that continued instability could drive up fuel prices and inflation. If the crisis deepens, experts predict a global economic slowdown, disrupting trade and shaking financial markets worldwide. The Middle East.
Okay, and I'm just showing these couple videos to show you this what the Bible refers to like a woman in travail, or like I titled it, it's a buildup. So before the big nuclear destruction, if anything, what you're going to see it first, it's going to affect what you get into the Middle East, a war with Iran, oil prices, gas. So you think things are expensive now, plus the tariffs, you're going to see it at the grocery store, the gas pump first. See, everything is a buildup. The nuclear destruction ain't finna hit yet. There's other things in prophecy, like I said earlier, that has to play out before, okay, oh Lord, the thermonuclear destruction. No, okay, you finna, it's a buildup, but you're gonna see it financially in other ways before we get to that point. Let me play this one.
Well, here's some news. In response to the Orange criminals' illegal military action against Iran, the Iranian parliament has now voted to close the Strait of Hormuz. Now, for you Trump cultists out there who have never heard of the Strait of Hormuz and are barely literate and certainly couldn't find it on a map, 20% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. So, if that is closed now to commercial traffic, that means there is going to be a 20% decrease in the supply of oil on the world market. And I know you guys don't know basic economics, don't know anything about supply and demand and price and all that. But what that means is the price of oil, and thus the price of gasoline, is going to rise. So your orange God King is constantly lying about the price of gas in this country being lower than it actually is. I'm sure he will continue to lie about it, but what's going to happen is the prices are going to start rising. That, in addition to Trump's tariffs, we are headed to recession. We already have 1 quarter of negative economic growth. If we have another quarter of negative economic growth, that is officially recession, pushing the price of oil higher through Donald Trump's illegal war. We're going to definitely be in recession. So congratulations, you fucking idiots. You voted for this. Well, here's some...
Okay, and like I said earlier, voted or not, is, as we read, it's the determination of the Lord. Okay, everything that you see playing out in earth at the highest level, it's the Most High bringing it. It's him building up to judge these nations. But first, like the video said, what? You're going to see it financially, okay? All prices, food, groceries, trade is going to completely stop. Okay, when it really pop off a little bit more with the Middle East and all of that, that's going to cause trade and all of those things to stop. All right, which is going to usher in what the Bible talks about, famine, all those other things has to happen before the nuclear destruction. Jeremiah 50 and 16. Let me read 15. This is 15. Shout out against her round about. She had given her hand. When somebody give their hand, meaning they're exposed. Like I said a minute ago, we read the least of the flocks are drawing them out. Everybody is starting to see kind of like, okay, these are the same people who, these people been behind this stuff the whole time. Okay, so that's what it means. She's showing her hand. Shout out roundabout against her. She has showed her hand. The foundations are falling. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord that taketh vengeance up on her, as she had done, do unto her. cut off the sword from Babylon. See, that's going into trade, selling, all those things. And him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest, for the fear of the oppression sword shall turn everyone to his own people, and shall flee everyone to his own land. Okay, so even a lot of these nations that help build the economy and things of that nature that's over here, what they finna bail out, jump back, go back to their own country. Okay, so this is going to affect trade, international trade. Revelations 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat of him had a pair of balances in his hand. Those balances represents judgment. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil nor the wine." So a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. That's going into what's about to soon start taking place. So say a day's wage or whatever you make in a day for this pay, that's going to be 1 trip to the grocery store. Okay, that's just like now you take a $50 bill to the grocery store today. Okay, see how much you walk out of there with. Okay, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, $50 worth of groceries, you get some stuff done. Okay, take $50 in the grocery store now. Okay, you lucky. You walk out of there with 3 or 4 items. Okay, well, that's going to only increase. Okay, that inflation or hyperinflation, the time we're coming into because of the buildup to this great war that we're reading about. Okay, so it's going to affect us in places like that first. Verse 7. Let me read 6 again. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil or the wine." The oil or the wine represents the elect. Okay, the Lord is going to preserve and keep his people through this. Verse 7. And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And he that sit on him, his name was Death. That pale horse represents Esau, or the so-called white man. And hell followed him, and power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth to kill with the sword. That's Esau's blessing, the sword. And with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Okay, so when it says with hunger and with death, understand part of this too is going to spike, what the Bible refers to famine. Okay, when buying, selling is cut off, as we read in Jeremiah 50:16, cut off the sword from Babylon. All flights, borders shut down, no more international trade, selling, whatever within the borders. Once that dry up, okay, that's going to cause massive famines. All right. What else? Let me play another video real quick.
The reason why I think my value is high.
No one wants to say it. The Iran-Israel war isn't just regional. Iran has allies like Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq and Syria. Israel is backed by the U.S., and if those countries step in, this gets a lot bigger fast. If Israel gets overwhelmed or U.S. bases are hit, the U.S. might enter. Not just with words, with B-52 bombers, aircraft carriers, and special ops. It's already moving tanker planes closer. Iran could respond by targeting Saudi oil, closing the Strait of Hormuz, or launching missiles from Lebanon. That drags in more countries, possibly NATO. And if Russia or China decide to support Iran, it's game over. World leaders know this could spiral. Behind the scenes, there's nonstop pressure to de-escalate, because everyone remembers how the last World War started, over alliances. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. And the next 7 days might change everything.
All right, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. How it showed all of those other countries that border these, I say like Israel, allies with America. Then you got NATO, okay, that's supposed to be back in America, but we know according to prophecy, even they're gonna end up turning. And then in the Middle East, you know, at Iran, you got their superpowers that's backing them, okay, China, Russia, okay, and all those other Muslim countries. Okay, so that's what's eventually starting to happen now. It went from just to smother the least of those to draw them out, which is Israel, like we read in Jeremiah 15:45. Now what they're pulling in all these other nations. Okay, that's the build up to Armageddon. All right, let me get this precept. Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and Magog. Okay, that would be Russia today. The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Okay, Meshech and Tubal goes into those like the bordering countries. That's right around. I don't have a map pulled up of that, but that I can't think of the way it's set up today, but those bordering countries, okay, basically those allies that's going to be joined with Iran is what we're reading about. Verse 3, and say, thus says the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief priest of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws. So when he say I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, this is talking about Russia. When we read earlier, Jeremiah 50:45, the least of these shall draw them out. Okay, well, this is how that's going to happen. What just happened with Iran, okay, being bombed like that, the Lord is going to force Russia to get involved in it now, because what? Russia has a vested interest in Iran. They're allies with Iran. So if you put hooks in somebody, just say you go in a different direction, it's like a fish swimming, and the fish get hooks in his jaws, what? Those hooks is going to pull him back. Okay, so Russia is going to go back to that old, what was it before in the past, that old Soviet Union type spirit, the USSR, okay, before all those smaller countries around them broke away, when they were all joined, you know, Turkey and all those other little countries around them. Well, that's what's about to happen now. Okay, all of them about to join forces, a band together against the West. All right, so verse 3 again, and say, thus says the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, Magog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all of thy armies and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia and Ethiopia and Libya with them. That's all of those little Middle Eastern Muslim countries today going to be joined with Russia. Right? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all of his bands, and the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all of his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, O, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So a guard is like a defender or protector. So that's what Russia and China is to Iran. Those superpowers to be a guard unto him. Just like over here, okay, if you take the way of all America really is a guard to Israel. Okay, and people starting to realize that more and more. It's like pretty much America, Trump is working for Israel, Netanyahu. Okay, whatever, for the most part, America is the muscle. Okay, Israel is like the brain controlling it. Okay, so that's why they really, Trump, America really don't have a say in the matter. They have to go in with whatever Israel do, because that's the biggest ally. Okay, so this is always showing you, according to prophecy, this is how the Lord is dragging all these nations down to the valley of decision. All right, let me get Revelation 16:16. And he gathered them together into a place in the Hebrew tongue called Armageddon. All right. Let's look at this word Armageddon real quick. because the Lord is gathering all these nations down to Armageddon. Let's see. Armageddon, the hill country of city of Megiddo. In Revelation 16:16, the scene of a struggle of good and evil is suggested by the battle plain of Artaxerxes, which was famous for two great victories of Barak over the Canaanites and of Gideon over the Midianites, and for two great disasters, the deaths of Saul and Josiah. Hence in Revelation, a place of great slaughter. See that? A place of great slaughter. The scene of terrible retribution up on the wicked. All right, so this is the Lord bringing them down to Armageddon, okay, for retribution. All right, let's go back. Revelations 16, I'm going to read it again. And he gathered them together into a place in the Hebrew tongue called Armageddon. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air. And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, "It is done." And there was voices and thunderings and lightnings. And there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men was upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. Now this great earthquake, this is going into that thermonuclear destruction. That's what this is talking about. Verse 19. And the great city was divided into three parts. And the city of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in the remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Okay. Let me see. I have one or two more clips I want to play.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed.
Okay, so that was Trump's response after they bomb. Okay, and this is the Iranian leader, his response.
By their
Those who are familiar with the politics of the region, they know that the Americans' involvement in this matter will 100% be at their loss. The loss they receive will probably be much more than the damage Iran will bear. If America have a military presence on the ground, without a doubt it will be an irreparable loss. They are threatening us, and they are also clearly asking us to surrender. With an unacceptable language, they ask the nation to surrender, and they ask us to come and surrender, which surprises us. First of all, they should threaten someone who is scared of their threat. The nation of Iran has shown that they does not feel intimidated by the threat of those doing the threatening.
Okay, so they're not backing down, okay, and that lines up with prophecy. Okay, the Bible even calls Ishmael, he calls these people a wild man. Okay, these people strap a damn bomb to themselves, blow themselves up just to get to the end or whatever their target is. Okay, so let me get this. 2 Ezra 15 and 29. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, okay, this is going into Iran, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, and with great power they shall come and join battle with them. So these are all these Middle Eastern Muslim countries that's going to join together, according to prophecy, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And then shall the dragons have their upper hand, remembering their nature. Okay, when it says remembering their nature, okay, the Bible once again refers to Ishmael as a wild man. Okay, they're going to know in their mind, they know this is talking about them in prophecy. They know part of their purpose in prophecy is to go against Babel, to go against America in the West. And then shall the dragons have their upper hand, remembering their nature, and they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. All right, so that's going to all those Muslim Middle Eastern countries, the superpower, like we read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, Russia, China, okay, they're going to all back them. Okay, that's what's going to lead up to that great and final battle, Armageddon. Back to Revelation 16:16. And he gathered them together into a place in the Hebrew tongue called Armageddon. Okay, and that's what we're slowly seeing, or the process of what's happening now. Joel 2 and 20. And I will remove far off from you of the northern army. Okay, this is the American military. Okay, so like all those, I think they got like 40,000 soldiers that's stationed over there now. Okay, this is not the time you want to be in the military. Okay, anybody got loved ones, people, things in the military, this is not the time you want to be over there, according to prophecy. Okay, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and I will drive them into a land barren, desolate, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder parts toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and all his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. So when it says his stink shall come up, okay, that's talking about death. Okay, so this war is finna get serious. Okay, so they're not, a little man over there, whatever his name, a guy over Iran, the video we just watched, okay, they're not playing around, okay, according to prophecy. Verse 21, fear not, O land, and be glad and rejoice, for the Lord will do great things, okay? Like we said before, ultimately, this is the Lord that's controlling the leaders. He at the minds, the thoughts, okay? A lot of them don't even know their next move. Okay, till the Lord put it in them what they're gonna do. Okay, that's just like what several days before Trump bombed Iran, the nuclear bases the other day, he wasn't even for sure. Let me see if I got that clip real quick.
Reach out to you?
Yes.
And what did they say?
I said it's very late. I said it's very late to be talking.
Mr. President.
I don't know. There's a big difference between now and a week ago, right?
Hey,
you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate.
So it's the Most High that's controlling their moves, because as we saw through this lesson, it's the Lord's determination to bring forth this great war, this final battle. So when he say he don't even know what he gonna do, that's true according to prophecy. Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turn it whatsoever he will. Okay, just like in ancient time, how the Lord would harden Pharaoh's heart 1 minute, he would soften his heart, harden it, change his mind, turn it back. Well, that's what this saying. The mind of the king is in the heart of the Lord. He controls it. Proverbs 16:1. The preparation of the heart of man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. See? So it's the Lord controlling the minds of these kings, these presidents, these leaders, to do his will on the earth. Okay, and that's his will, as we see, to gather them all down. This is a buildup for what the Bible is referring to, that great day, okay, that battle of Armageddon, okay, which is going to end in thermonuclear fire. Okay, let me get a couple precepts on that. We're going to close this one out. Isaiah 9:5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confusion of noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning of fuel and fire, meaning in ancient times, okay, before there were nuclear bombs and nuclear weapons, okay, ancient battles was up close and personal, okay, people had rode on horses, they had spears, swords, you could hear the metal clinging together from the swords and shields, on the battlefield. Okay, but this war, this third war, which is to come, okay, this great war to come, nuclear destruction, this is going to be a nuclear war. Okay, this is what this is speaking of. Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. Why is it going to burn as an oven? Because it's going to end in thermonuclear fire. And all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day cometh that shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. This it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you who fear my name shall the Son of the righteous arise with healing in his wings. It shall go forth and grow up as calves in a stall, showing you what the Lord is going to spare and keep, protect his elect. Joel 2. Let me see. Joel 2:3. A fire devoured before them, and behold them, a flame burneth, and the lands is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Okay, desolate wilderness because of this thermonuclear destruction. Isaiah 13, I think is 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. As for gold, they shall not delight in it. Okay, now, the area or the Medes, that region today, I think that's the area where Russia dwells in. Okay, the Medes, according to ancient times, though, would have been like the Iranians. Okay, or Iran. So when it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, okay, to my understanding, some people say, okay, Russia, other people say Medes, Persians, Iranians. Okay, I'm going to look into it a little bit more. I'm not 100% on that, but basically that's what they're showing. You're not going to be able to pay, or America is not going to be able to pay these people off. Okay, once this thing like it, I think the leader Iran already said, or whatever the statement he made, okay, everyone will feel it and all of this. They're not going to be able to finesse or bribe or reason with these people no more. Okay, so it's on, in other words. So behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, nor as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men into pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children, as Babylon, the glory and kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans, excellently shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so the Lord is comparing the fall of America, when this judgment really kick off, to what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah in ancient times. Okay, so before Yahweh Shah returns, according to the Bible, this whole part of the region, the land of America, okay, is going to be totally desolated, according to prophecy. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitchers tent there, neither shall shepherds make their fold there. Okay, and this can't, a lot of people try to, well, that happened already, this ancient time. No, because ancient Babylon, okay, there's still people dwelling there to this day. Okay, let's see. I think I covered most of what I had for this one. Let me close out here. Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all of these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, and why is the end not yet? Because like we titled the lesson, it's a buildup. Okay, so the thermonuclear destruction ain't going to be today. It's not going to be next month, probably not next year. Like we say, there's things according to prophecy that has to come to pass first. Okay, so the end is not yet. Okay, but just know, like a woman in travail, what is rapidly increasing fast. And Jeremiah, what else I wanted? 51:46. Let's close out there. Unless your heart faint and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come in 1 year, and after that another year shall come in rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. So the same thing we read Matthew 24, wars and rumors of wars. 1 year, okay, sound like, oh, it's going down. They about to bomb, they about to let the nukes fly. Okay, then the next year you're going to hear another rumor. Okay, so we showing you, according to prophecy, no, ain't nothing, the nukes, the big nukes, let me say what the Bible refers to. We was reading all of those nuclear destruction scriptures. That's not, it's a buildup before we get to that. All right, that's a buildup, but just know, according to prophecy, it's coming, because the Lord says prophecy. It's inedible. Okay, it is coming, but the Lord will preserve his elect through it. Okay, so I just want to kind of touch on that to kind of, let everybody know according to prophecy where we at. Okay, we here, we all at the end, or shall we say the beginning of sorrows. Okay, this is the beginning, what's leading up to that Armageddon, a great day of battle. Okay, so let's keep the faith, stay prayed up. Okay, it ain't a time to lax, get weary, fall back into the world, though we all battling. Okay, a lot of it is, not a lot of it, all of it. Okay, because there's war on every front. We're starting to see war manifest in the earth, but what it already happened in the spirit, already taking place in the spirit realm. We already had a victory, but that's another reason why even the saints, like the Bible says, he shall wear out the saints. Okay, we feel wore out. Okay, burned out, tired, overworked. Okay, our spirit is tired. Okay, we ready. Okay, for the kingdom, ready for Yahweh Shah, okay? But we have to keep battling. All right, so I pray that this lesson was edifying. Till next time, we'll say shalom. We out.